So this will be an artist's studio. This is a friend of ours, an English artist, and she will have her studio in this area. These are some tiles that are new, but they're purposely aged because I wanted this area to look a little bit like an old factory, and we couldn't keep the original tiles, unfortunately. And the edging is just cement with a sealer, and I kept these old brackets just for no reason other than I liked them, and I liked the idea that it made it still look a little bit like an old factory. And this here was actually just a platform. It was about higher up, and they just used it to store things, and I got this thing second hand and installed it, and I also got the stairs second hand. They're a little bit steep, but at least they're small and don't take up too much room. And this wasn't here before. We added this in, and I made a little room where the artist can clean her brushes and store her paint. And that was all second hand as well. The sink and the marble countertop I got for €50. I was quite proud of that. And so before, up here you couldn't go here, there was no ladder, you had to go up on a little, so there was no stairs, you had to go up on a ladder. And yeah, this was before 1 metre 30 until the roof, so you couldn't stand, but now it's 1 metre 76, so as long as you're not too tall, you can stand. And the floor is all the original floor. We sanded it so much, and it was really, really in bad shape, but it looks really good now. And this, I think, will be a great place for the artist to have a little desk and sit and work, and she can look a little bit out the window. And that's the original door. Just sanded, painted on the outside, sanded on the inside, and we made a little window above it. That's new. And the lamps I like the industrial look of them, like an old 18th century factory. So this wall wasn't here before, it was a little bit more open, but we added this in order to put a bathroom in this area. And previously, this is where you went out into the patio. So we took the door out here, we used it on the other side, you'll see in a minute. And so cut off half a part of the patio to make the shower there. And then these shelves here are all from wood that we took out when we took out one of, there used to be an extra mezzanine which we took out above the kitchen, which you'll see in a minute, and there was a bit of wood left over, so I made these shelves and those shelves over there as well from that wood. And so here we come into the kitchen. So this previously was a little bathroom, and here was a wall that went all the way up, and so previously this was just a little passageway. So this, I really felt like it needed to be opened up, because we really walked into this area and everything was really low, the ceilings were really low, it just felt very cramped and claustrophobic. And so this window was previously actually around the corner here, and we put it in here and stripped it, and the Chinese workers thought I was crazy because they thought this window was rubbish, but after many hours it's turned out really beautiful, I think. And then I just wanted to add some flowers into this tiny little patio that we have outside, which is really more of a light well, but just to give a little bit of a sense of exterior space, because there really isn't much exterior space here. We're all in the back of the building in the interior. And so here's just a sweet little IKEA kitchen. And then this is my favorite corner of the whole apartment. And this is the most work that I put in. If you look at the original photos, you'll see the stair was really it was just all open. This wasn't here. Just an open, really, really rundown stair, completely dirty, covered in old paint, full of woodworm. And this was hours and hours of restoring the woodwork and creating this little cupboard. I built this myself because it wasn't too complicated. I needed a little bit of extra support because the white bit was not originally there, but the stairs were really not very stable. They're into the wall. That beam is in the wall like 2 centimeters really. I don't know how they stayed up, so I just added those. And so this is a good space to just be able to store things like suitcases, big things that don't fit easily anywhere else. And so I made the height of this purposely it's 80 centimeters, so it would be able to open over top of any table that I had, and then just some benches where I got some mattresses made. And this table I got secondhand. This table is exactly the one that I had in mind, but knew it costs 370 euros. But I managed to find it secondhand for 160, so I was really pleased because we can't really afford to spend a lot of money on the furniture here. And these chairs were both I found on the street, and I just renovated them a little bit. Made a nice yellow cover which matches the yellow in the floor. And this one is also from the street. It was a little bit broken, I just repaired it. And so these chairs were all free. This cupboard here was already here. This was one of the only items of furniture that was here originally, and I just renovated it a little bit because it was really run down as well, but it's a sweet little cupboard. And so here, these doors were, there was no doors here, it was just open. And so the guy who did the renovation, he had these, he was throwing these away in a different job that he was doing in a different apartment. He was just about to throw them away and he said, "Do you want them?" And so I said yes. And we stripped the paint off and they fit just perfectly in here. We had to adjust them a little bit. And so this was the back room, which is one of the bedrooms. Although there's only going to be one person living here, so she's going to use this as a dressing room. And because the bathroom here was so small, it doesn't fit a sink. And so we just did a shower. This was actually originally a little patio. Added this ceiling here just to cover it. This one was already here. And so you've got a little mini bathroom here, a little ensuite bathroom. And just added the sink outside and made it a little bit nice, so it's kind of part of your dressing room. And all this wood is, I did all this because it was very rotted here. I couldn't renovate it, so I made these from leftover wood from the mezzanine floor that we took out. And they were really, the wood was pretty bad condition. It was very full of woodworm. Took a lot of work to make it look nice, but I think it looks nice. Most of the wood we used here, this as well, was all just reclaimed wood that was here. This mirror I got for free. So then this door was where previously I showed you the doorway to the shower. That was where this door was, and we took it out and had to adjust it a little bit. And now you enter the patio from here, which before was just a window. And you've got, under there you've got the washing machine and a little garden to look out on, because it really is not much, as you can see. There's not much, it's not very nice space, but with some plants it makes it look a bit nicer. And so here we go into the little mezzanine space that was here originally. Well, not originally, I think they built it in the 60s. And again, we had this very old, grey, dirty floor. It took a lot of sanding and staining and varnishing to make it look nice like this. And here was just a wall. So that's completely taken out. And this, I can't think of the word in English, barandilla in Spanish, anyway, railing. This was second-hand as well. I found it on this second-hand website for 50 euros. and just added this new thing on top. and I think it makes it look like it was always here, which is really nice, and you get a little bit of a sense of space up here. And so this was always here. They had built it when they put in this floor, because there is a doorway that was quite high there, so they had to build over top, and I just left it because I thought it was quite a good place to put a little sofa. And so I just sewed this cover and made these pillows from leftovers that I had. And this chair is also secondhand for 50 euros, which I just like the colors. And this was a little stool that was here that was here originally, that I just renovated a little bit because it just fits size-wise. And so here is the bed, what she will use as the bedroom. Unfortunately, she's a little bit tall. This is really an apartment for a short person, because the beams are about 177 to here, and she's 181, so she's going to be ducking a little bit. But this is a bed with storage underneath. I only ever get these beds, canopy beds with storage now, because in small Barcelona apartments you really need all the storage that you can get. And so here's a little, that was the top of the old doorway, which they didn't have anything here. We built this little window because I thought it was quite important to have ventilation, because these mezzanines get really hot and stuffy in summer. And for that reason we also added this window here. This was not here, this was just completely closed. It felt very claustrophobic, and we asked permission from the community, because it's actually a main wall, and we asked permission if we could put a window in, and they said yes. And because it looks out on a very ugly little, they're called light wells, so I put some plants here, so you've got something nice to look out on. And this is now a cozy little bedroom. And yes, that's the fruit of the last 5 months' labour.